Dave Pilkey's Captain Underpants has been repeatedly banned or challenged due to concerns over offensive language, challenging authority, and both inappropriate and unsuited for the desired age group. The Office for Intellectual Freedom received 464 challenges just last year. To jump ahead to Chapter 4, the chapter is Mean Old Mr. Krupp. It starts right here. Do you see that old guy looking out the window up there? That's Mr. Krupp, the principal. Now Mr. Krupp was the meanest, sourest old principal in the whole history of Jerome Horowitz Elementary School. He hated laughter and singing. He hated the sounds of children playing at recess. In fact, he hated children altogether. And guess which children Mr. Krupp hated most of all? If you guessed George and Harold, you're right. Mr. Krupp hated George and Harold. He hated their pranks and their wise cracks. He hated their silly attitudes and their constant giggling. And he especially hated those awful Captain Underpants comic books. I'm going to get one of those boys one day, Mr. Krupp vowed. One day, very, very soon. Chapter 5. One day, very soon. Remember when I said that George and Harold's silly streak got them into big trouble once? Well, this is the story of how it happened and how some huge pranks and a little blackmail turned their principal into the coolest superhero of all time. It was the day of the big football game between the Horowitz Knuckleheads and the Steubenville Stinkbugs. The bleachers were filled with fans. The cheerleaders ran onto the field and shook their pom-poms over their heads. A fine black dust drifted out of their pom-poms and settled all around them. "Give me a K," shouted the cheerleaders. "K," repeated the fans. "Give me an N," shouted the cheerleaders. "N," repeated the fans. "Give me an achoo," sneezed the cheerleaders. "Achoo," repeated the fans. The cheerleaders sneezed and sneezed and sneezed some more. They couldn't stop sneezing. "Hey," shouted a fan in the bleachers. "Somebody sprinkled the black pepper into the cheerleaders' pom-poms. I wonder who did that?" asked another fan. The cheerleaders stumbled off the field, sneezing and dripping with mucus, as the marching band members took their places. But when the band began to play, steady streams of bubbles began blowing out of their instruments. Bubbles were everywhere, up and down the field, and the marching band slipped and slid, leaving behind a thick trail of wet, bubbly fans. "Hey," shouted a fan in the bleachers, "somebody poured bubble bath into the marching band's instruments." "I wonder who did that?" asked another fan. Soon the football teams took the field. The knuckleheads kicked the ball. Up, up went the ball. Higher and higher it went. This ball sailed into the clouds and kept right on going until nobody could see it anymore. "Hey," shouted a fan. "Somebody filled the game ball with helium." "I wonder who did that?" asked another fan.